Welcome to ETH Daily, a daily briefing on the latest in Ethereum. Here's your latest for Tuesday, April 21st, 2026. Arbitrum freezes 30,000 ETH from the Kelp DAO exploiter. Optimism introduces the Privacy Boost SDK. Base announces its Azul upgrade. And Coinbase releases a paper on quantum computing and crypto. All this and more starts right after this message. Lido now offers more than staking. Lido Earn lets you deploy stablecoins into curated DeFi strategies for daily auto-compounded earnings with transparent allocations and first loss protection. Grow your rewards with EarnUSD on stake.lido.fi/earn. The Arbitrum Security Council executed an emergency upgrade to freeze 30,766 Ether from an address involved in the Kelp DAO exploit. As part of the recovery effort, $71 million worth of ETH was moved from the exploiter's wallet into a frozen intermediary address. The funds will remain frozen until an Arbitrum DAO vote approves further action. Patrick McCrory explained that the council briefly modified the inbox contract on Layer 1 to include a function enabling cross-chain messages that could impersonate any sender. Using the capability, a single transaction impersonated the exploiter's address to transfer the funds. Immediately afterwards, the inbox contract was restored to its original state. The Arbitrum DAO will now need to decide how to allocate the recovered funds. It will need to determine whether to use them to compensate Aave lenders for losses or return them to Kelp DAO to help restore RSETH backing. OP Labs introduced Privacy Boost, a new plug-and-play SDK for adding confidential transfers to any OP stack chain. The release aims to help projects meet regulatory requirements such as MiCA, Bank Secrecy Act, AML, KYC, and GDPR, which are difficult to satisfy when user transaction data is published on a public blockchain. Privacy Boost combines zero-knowledge proofs with trusted execution environments, where ZK proofs ensure privacy and cryptography integrity, while TEEs improve performance and simplify integrations. Built on a UTXO-based model, the solution can generate proofs in under 500 milliseconds and includes a forced withdrawal function. Boost is now live on OP mainnet. Base announced the Base Azul upgrade, its first standalone network upgrade since departing Optimism's superchain. The upgrade introduces multi-proofs, enhancing security, decentralization, performance, and the overall developer experience. By combining trusted execution environments with zero-knowledge proofs, multi-proofs move Base closer to Stage 2 decentralization. Base Azul also streamlines the network architecture by consolidating operations onto a single execution client, Base Reth node, alongside a new consensus client, Base Consensus, built on Kona. The Azul upgrade is already live on testnet with mainnet activation scheduled for May 13th. Base node operators will need to transition to the new client ahead of the activation date. Base is also hosting a $250,000 audit competition on Immunify running through May 4th. Looking ahead, the team plans to introduce an enshrined token standard and flash block access lists by the end of June, followed by native account abstraction by the end of August. And lastly, the Coinbase Quantum Advisory Council, an independent group of researchers from the Ethereum Foundation, Eigen Labs, and Stanford, released its first position paper examining the potential impact of quantum computing on crypto. The report concludes that while current cryptographic systems remain secure today, advances in quantum computing could compromise crypto security within the next decade. It highlighted that the immutability of transaction history is largely resistant to quantum threats. However, wallet-level signature schemes are significantly more vulnerable. The paper notes the challenge of transitioning millions of wallets to quantum-resistant signature schemes. In other news, the Ethereum Foundation publishes its recap of the Ethereum Fellowship Cohort 6, Aave unfreezes its Ethereum Core Wrapped ETH market, and Mantle transitions into a ZK rollup. This has been a roundup of today's top news stories in Ethereum. You can support this podcast by subscribing and following us at ETH Daily. Also subscribe to our newsletter at ethdaily.io.